talking about. Leadership and your intuitive wisdom. Leadership and your intuitive wisdom. Accordingly, I'm sorry to disappoint you that I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. I could have got a 48-slide PowerPoint up here without any difficulty. So I'm going to speak intuitively. How about that? I am going to genuinely tune into where you're at. And I will trust that the universe, that God, that whoever is here is going to give me the words to share with you that will be of greatest value to you. You are a genius. Each and every one of you in this room is born a genius. For 20 years, I have been doing this work, and as Australasia's passion provocateur, do you like my red jacket? Red is the colour of passion. For 20 years, I've been doing this work, and before that, for 20 years, I was a lawyer, and I have successfully recovered. My thoughts are very much influenced by a genius that most of you in this room have never heard of. I'm confidently say so. This genius was awarded 47 honorary doctorates, one guy. So who in this room has been awarded one honorary doctorate? Not a doctorate, but an honorary doctorate. None. Okay. This guy got 47. Who of you, in speaking the truth, no bullshit, who of you has heard of Buckminster Fuller? Hands up. Look around the room. We're close to 30%. This is the largest number of people in an audience over the last 20 years that I have had at such a level. So that shows the type of audience that you are. Buckminster Fuller was born in 1896. He died in 1983, aged 87. 47 honorary doctorates, and most people have not heard of him. He said this in his book, completed just before he died. He said, "The planet is in peril of extinction if each and every one of you do not speak the truth, now and henceforth." Each and every one of you speaking the truth, and all of the truth as you perceive it, now. He also said, not only is the planet in peril of extinction, but contrary to that, for this planet to work requires the intuitive wisdom of each and every one of us in this room. Not wisdom, intuitive wisdom. Hence my topic, leadership and your intuitive wisdom. This genius said that for us to build what we need to build, for us to survive, we have to speak the truth, and we need your intuitive wisdom. Now, Bucky, as he was known, he also said, each one of you is born a genius. So on matters of science, I have no trouble saying that each one of you is a genius. So start to play with this idea in your mind. I am a genius. And if you're writing notes, please write that down. I am a genius. Then think about, in your organisation, how often you don't tell the truth. How often do you speak the opposite of truth that I call bullshit? For 20 years I've been running workshops and speaking with companies and at conferences, and I have worked in depth. I coach senior executives. the volume of bullshit in most organisations in 8 countries that I've spoken around, in bigger organisations, is huge. There's such a passion for bullshit. There is such a passion for bullshit. It's this illusion. It's safe. Just as long as I'm safe, I'll survive another day. That's the question. What stops you from speaking your truth? Now, the next question is, what is truth? If I said to you, tell me something that's true, you would struggle. You can tell me your belief, but what is truth? Gravity applies. That seems to be a universal law. But you start to then go, hey, truth as I perceive it. Many times there's truth. Did you send that email? Yes or no? There's a truth to that. But as general principles as to what is true, there's very little. So, number one, speaking the truth. When stuff is happening in your organisation, and particularly with the number of government, not-for-profit enterprises that are forced to be profitable, including universities, the organisational crap that goes on blocks the genius that lies within every single person that works at that place and kills passion. As soon as you have to talk relentless bullshit to survive, it kills your passion. Now, how do I know that? Because 80% of people like you in similar audiences, when I say what percentage of Australians strike you as being passionate about their work, 80% of you will say less than 20% of people. What a waste. You have this amazing resource, passion. My definition of it in my books, passion is a source of unlimited energy from your soul, your spirit, your heart, that enables you to produce extraordinary results. Extraordinary because ordinary is most people. When you are passionate, and each of these scholarship holders, I assure you, are passionate about what they're doing, when you are passionate, you stick out from the crowd and you have access to this amazing spiritual energy. Every one of us has it. And the question as the bullshit gets piled on in most organisations in Australia, it kills passion. Now, I have never met a person who starts off, who says, I'm starting a new job tomorrow. Starting at Queensland University of Technology. No, they don't. It's like, Charles, guess what? I got a job at the QUT. It's fantastic. You know, and Mondelez. I'm going to work at Mondelez. It's fantastic. Oh, fantastic. Well done. Jason, congratulations on your new job. Yeah, terrific. And I bump into Jason 6 months later. How's the job, Jason? Same as all the others. There are passion killers around. And truth gets rid of the passion killers. Now, it might also get rid of your job. As your brain is screaming there saying, and this research, I've cut out articles on this for the last 20 years in the Australian Financial Review and the Australian Business Press, most leaders in Australia say, tell me the truth. And then as soon as you do, you're in trouble. You're a troublemaker. It is proven in Australia that it's dangerous to speak the truth. And I want to put to you the proposition, it's far more dangerous to stuff up this planet. It's far more dangerous for your kids that we stuff up the planet. And that's the choice that we have to make. So then you have to tap into your passion and your intuitive wisdom to see whether you want to speak the truth. Now, why do I speak to you? With what authority do I speak to you about leadership? Well, I was born in Melbourne. My parents were migrants from Hungary. I speak fluent Hungarian. I was a prefect at school. I was raised a Catholic. I practiced that for 40 years and mastered it, so I don't need to practice it anymore. When it was a good school. I was one of 6 kids. We had no money, so from the age of 12, I've been working. So I've been working for 49 years. I was a commissioned debt collector at the age of 12. And I was a prefect at school. And then at the age of 25, I was president for 5 years of the Lawn Surf Lifesaving Club. Who's ever been to Lawn? It was the best surf club at the time in 1977. And I was a leader of 55 and 60-year-olds of the most successful surf club in Victoria, part of a national organisation. I worked at the biggest law firm in Australia. I set up my own law firm. I was a leader of that. I was elected as a member of the Law Institute Council. I was president, the most difficult job I've ever done, president of the Parents and Friends Association. For 5 years, they kept re-electing me. By the way, my platform at the Law and Surf Club was, I will remain president until anyone stands against me. And then no one stood against me for 5 years. And the only reason why someone stood against me was because I made a decision that we're not going to buy another bloody surf boat. And the boaties were upset, so they put up a puppet president, knowing that in each annual report I'd said, if anyone nominates against me, I won't stand, because I'm a volunteer. If someone else wants to do the job, terrific. I was president for 5 years of the Parents and Friends Association. I want to give you one example of the thinking that I'm sharing with you, of your trusting your intuitive wisdom, of how powerful it is. I would have 30 people at these committee meetings, and they would say to me, I'm not happy about the decision the principal's made about my child. You know, this was from prep to grade 5. I say, that's the wrong decision. I say, great. So before we talk about whether the principal's made the right decision or the wrong decision, would you please tell the group what your philosophy is about education? And there was silence. So you might not like something, or you might like something, or you might be opposed to something, but tell me the basis on which you want to act. What's your philosophy? And that ties into your intuitive wisdom. Philosophy comes from two Greek words, philos and sophia, meaning the love of wisdom. You come to this conference, my wish for you is that you develop this deep love of wisdom and not for bullshit. And so I said to these people, well, come on, what's your philosophy? And the heat would go out of the debate, and it became an exploration, which is what Tanya's idea was for the creation of this conference. Let's go and explore possibilities. And I've been president for 20 years of the Australia-Hungary Chamber of Commerce. I was the national president for the National Speakers Association. Now that's a horrible group to lead. 600 egomaniacs. So I promise you what I'm talking about works. Now, intuitive wisdom. What's the difference between intuitive wisdom and wisdom? And my definition of passion, that it comes from your soul, from your spirit, from your heart, is the clue. Intuition is far more powerful than your mental process. It's a spiritual process. You're tapping into amazing powers. You're tapping into the collective consciousness. And you need to develop, once you see the value of it, to tap into this resource that's available for each of us. So you need a spiritual life to do this. You need to have a philosophy to do this. And you need to spend time on your soul. You need to spend time working out who you are. Because how can you lead if you don't know who you are? Stanford Graduate School of Business says that the number one leadership capability, the advisory board of 75 experienced people overwhelmingly said the number one capability for great leadership is self-awareness. And self-awareness is this ability to understand why you do what you do. And if you are scared to tell the truth, self-awareness gives you the answer. What is it that is blocking me from telling the truth? What is it that's blocking me from being the entrepreneur that the Australian government says that we need? What is it that's stopping me from living my passion, taking the risk of speaking the truth? What is it inside me? And that is a journey. I ask many people, I say, what personal development have you done? And they say, I've read a book on personal development, or I've read many books on personal development. And my comment to that is, that's like, I've been competing in triathlons for 29 years. That's like the difference between reading a book about the Hawaii Ironman and competing in it. Personal development can only be done if you live it. And if you live according to this offer, this opportunity that the future of the planet is to let your intuitive wisdom out, the genius that you have access to, the world will be an amazing different place, and you will impact on other people differently. So the way to do this, the way to tap into this is to develop your spiritual life. When I think about that, there are 9 F's. The letter F standing for foxtrot. Sorry, F for foxtrot, not F for sex. And the 9 areas, the 9 F's to help you with understanding. If I want my intuitive wisdom, if I want to be a great leader of human beings, you can be a leader of robots, but if you want to lead human beings, the deepest connection, the powerful connection is when we link to our humanity, not to our information. And the 9 F's, so it starts to go, what are the spiritual parts of my life? They are family, they are friends, faith, fun. Next one, difficult, forgiveness. Next one, freedom. It's number 6, freedom. The freedom for you to be who you want to be. The freedom for you to share your intuitive wisdom. The freedom for you to inspire people around you in your organisation. And they go, you are a leader. I want to follow you because that's what I want. Freedom. Number 7, fortitude. Number 8, philosophy. Who said you need to spell? Number 9, fornication. It's a nice word, but seriously, we call it making love. What I'm sharing with you is the parts that make up love. And coming back to where we started, are you driven by love or its opposite as a leader? Love, its opposite is not hate. Its opposite is fear. And if you pay attention to the spiritual parts of your life, take the steps to discover your passion, take the steps to tap into this amazing spiritual resource that you have, so you come from love, not fear, what happens is you expand. You are either, says Bucky, expanding or shrinking. When you are driven by fear, you are shrinking. When you are driven by fear, which is all mentally driven, there are only 2 fears you are born with, fear of loud noises, fear of falling. When it's fear that drives your behavior, it's mental and it's squashing your spirit. That's what I call depression. And there's a huge quantity of depression in our society. Squashing of the human spirit. And these conferences are to remind you of what a genius that you are. So Bucky says, do you want to expand or contract? Love expands. Love means you give. And my criticism of Australian leadership, which is causing enormous problems in our society, is that the evidence of the quality of their leadership is demonstrated to me by the number of people who can be passionate about their work. Because leaders create the culture where passion can either flourish or not. And so my invitation to you is to take the risk. My invitation to you is to be who you are meant to be. And what happens as you expand, as you come from your intuitive space, as you are powerfully speaking your truth, you spiritually grow bigger, and on the principles of the law of attraction of bodies, metaphysically, you attract people to you. That is genuine leadership. That is genuine leadership. It's not from bullshit. It's from the power of your soul, of your spirit, of your energy. You can create it. It is a great way to live. And what it enables you to do is to let go of the fear that speaking the truth, that accessing your intuitive wisdom might cause you to lose your job. My wish for you is that you do lose your job in any shitty environment that blocks your intuitive wisdom, that blocks your genius. Thank you.